Have you ever had something happen and you were worried about the results you were going to get when others found out or you told someone? And so instead of sharing what happens, you make a little something up because that might look a little less of something that you did that maybe was incorrect or you weren't paying attention or something happens. And so everything was kind of washed over. Well, here's one of the things you maybe didn't get. You didn't get the opportunity to learn from that. Because when people provided feedback, all the feedback they provided was to what you said happened, not what really happened. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the opportunity to stop lying and start learning. All that and more on episode 855 of today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, what was that all about?
Just trying something different today. And as you know, we talked about this before the program a little bit. This might be a little more entertaining than usual.
Are you thinking about expected results? Anticipated results?
No, I'm thinking about the anticipated repercussions.
Isn't that a result?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. All right. I haven't even thought about that. I'm not concerned about that.
You're evolved, Tom. We all know that. I'm the knucklehead. You're the guy who's way down the highway.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Yet we're all on different highways, so it depends. Some might be further along than we think, even though we might not consider ourselves that when we look at others. So why compare to others? Be a renegade. Just focus on yourself.
Fair enough. Okay, well, this is going to be a renegade 30 minutes or so.
You're going to be gripping the table the whole time so you don't run your hand through
I am already gripping the table, yes.
Fair enough. All right, everybody, good morning and welcome to today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast. Each week, Bob and I pick a topic. Actually, we had a listener pick the topic this week. Our topic is Stop Lying. Fascinating. We had an interesting, I thought, conversation yesterday where in the conversation, we actually came up with the topic for today as we went through it. So if you want to figure out, maybe if you're listening to this, you want to figure out, well, how did they get to there? Go back and look at yesterday's episode 854, because I think you'll find some interesting insight and some great thoughts and ideas, values shared by a few of our listeners. So we hope you'll go back and check that out. So as we go through this conversation this morning, if you have any thoughts or ideas you would like to share, please welcome to put them in the comments. If you have something that you'd really like us to talk about, to pick a week to talk about, please feel free to share that as well, because I think it's interesting. We've got one, and Bob's already stressed about viewer topics. Why not just keep adding to that? And of course, at the end of the conversation, Bob and I will each offer our one thing, our today's antidote. That thing that we help if you happen to be frustrated, stuck, overwhelmed, uncertain, really just not confident. This one thing that we share or that someone else shares might be the thing to help you figure out how to take your next step. Even if people have been telling you this forever and a day, maybe today is the day that you'll actually hear it and it'll make some sense to you and allow you to gain a little bit more confidence and control. Before we dive into that conversation, though, each morning, Bob and I share our celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today?
I literally have no celebration today because I'm so worried about the topic and the discussion, and we started talking about it earlier. So let me see, what can I celebrate today?
You told me before the show something you could celebrate.
No. I have my reasons for that.
Okay.
So I'm going to celebrate the fact that I am very close to a school teacher and it's the last day of school for this person. And for most people, we're at the last day of school in the last week or in the next week or so. I've taught college, I've taught high school. It seems like teaching and you get to have your summer off and all that is super easy. I will tell you, the people that I know that teach, my father was a teacher, it is a grind. The best way I can describe it is it's like being a battery and you're constantly giving away your charge and there's not a recharger for the whole year. So I actually, tomorrow evening, there'll be a celebratory dinner to celebrate the end of the school year with this person. And so I celebrate the fact that they got through another year. They do hard work with special ed. So it's elementary school special ed kids. So it's important stuff. Teaching kids to try to get to on-level reading and math skills. It's not like easy work.
Is any work easy?
Oh, here we go. We're back to.
You're
going to be the anti-teacher person.
No, see, that's an you're not hearing what I'm saying.
I'm going to have to rescind my offer from before the show to you.
You're not hearing what I'm saying. My question was, is any job easy?
Tom, I've done a lot of jobs. I've been a newspaper reporter. I've been a PR person. I've taught college. I've taught high school. I've edited publications. I've run my own business. Of all the jobs I've had, I think it's like 16 different jobs. The hardest job I had was teaching a high school.
For you?
If you care, if you want to really do a great job, if you want to help people become their best, it takes all your energy. It is not like, now you can be a teacher that goes in there, goes, okay, it's day 3 of the school year and I'm going to read from you can do that. Absolutely. And you can get away with that. You can do that for a whole career, knock yourself out. But if you really want to meet kids where they are and really change their lives and really affect them, you're a role model to the kids. You're someone they look at in terms of just how you act. You're engaged with them beyond just their classroom stuff. You know, when I taught high school, I had students, I'm still close to a couple of students that I taught. It's been almost 30 years. That's the relationship you can develop with students if you really are all in.
Kind of like with employees.
If you choose to be that way, absolutely. So you can either be all into whatever you do, or you can be not all in. I don't even know what the opposite is. I've never been the opposite.
You show up.
Yeah, right. And so I'm saying to the people that show that are all in on what they do as a teacher, I celebrate you today. If you're just the show up and take your paycheck every 2 weeks and, you know, get your nice retirement fund, hey.
Now you're the one that's going to be in trouble with teachers, not me. Do I think they have a challenging job? Absolutely. I think there are a lot of challenging. I think all jobs are challenging. It's funny.
They can be if you challenge yourself. This program can be challenging. Trust me, this program can be challenging if you challenge yourself. If you allow the listeners to pick topics, this program can be challenging. Trust me.
I don't find it that challenging.
The listener didn't help pick the topic. How about next week we let your wife pick a topic?
Okay. We can do that. Text her. Tell her.
I will.
It's okay. Look, I agree. Teachers are valuable jobs. Extremely valuable. It's
also at such a formative stage in kids' lives. Especially elementary school. You know, imagine being the teacher of a first grader who has had no family involvement in terms of instruction whatsoever. Stories not read to them, none of the formative stuff. So they're already behind. And now if you don't arrest that and really work to get that up to level, that's a problem. Or if the child has autism or some other condition, it's tough. You're talking to someone who, as someone in the seats outside the stadium on this, I have 5 or 6 names of kids that I know exactly what's going on with them just from first name. Like, how's this person doing?
Okay.
Oh, that's how much it affects me just to hear the. Oh, wow, and the celebrations are small.
Sounds
But
like
I'm not going to make this case anymore.
Sounds like a judgment that celebrations are small.
Oh boy.
We can move on. That's okay. All I asked was a question. Is any work easy?
This is Tom. All I asked was a question. That's like
Did I do
all I
anything
did
else
was
than ask?
pull the plug out of the hand grenade. I didn't throw it. I just pulled the plug out. Okay.
By asking a question?
Some questions can be a hand grenade.
Depends how you want to answer them, I guess, and how you want to approach them.
Okay. All right, keep going. What's your celebration today?
Okay. I'm going to celebrate systems today. So one of the side things that I do, as I think we've talked about, is not only do I officiate girls and women's lacrosse, I also assign for summer events, tournaments. And so we had an first event for this new client, let's put it that way.
Right.
And I really sort of part of my new role with this client is I don't do all the work for it. I have someone else I'm working with to basically manage it. And I do some of the back end stuff for it. Now there's some other events where I'm doing it and they're not. And so it's an opportunity to scale my business a little bit differently. And so our first event was this weekend outside of the event that I was doing, because we talked about that probably ad nauseum for some people. And so they sent me a simple spreadsheet that had like all the names, people's games, totals that they should be paid. And with this system that I have, maybe I'll get them to be a sponsor of the show. I literally have everybody. It took me maybe 30 minutes and have everybody's name in and their information. Probably not even that. Probably like 15. And hit a button, approved it, double checked it. And at 1:00 today, they'll process all of those and the money will be in people's bank accounts this afternoon. Which, as opposed to 2 years ago.
I was going to say, tell me how you used to do it.
Used to write checks to all those people.
I'm sorry, right? What you're going to have to explain what those things are, because some of our viewers and listeners don't understand what they are, Tom. So
I have this big book, actually.
Okay, this big book, and
somewhere here.
It wasn't signed by George Washington, because it goes that far back.
No, thanks.
Okay, so for you young people, a check is a paper form of payment that you sign. You write the person who's going to receive it, the amount, the date, and then you sign it, and they take it to a bank. Now, more recently, you could actually take a picture of it on your phone, and it would go to the bank through the world of the internet. But in the olden days, we paid for things with checks at the grocery store, at the auto repair store, you name it. And we also would we'd put like our social security number on it and our driver's license number. I actually found a check a couple weeks ago from when you would put your social security number on the actual check in the pre-written part, so you didn't have to write it each time.
Absolutely.
So if you want to be involved in identity theft, just go back and look at someone's checkbook from like what? 1999.
You don't even have to be plus on the check is your routing and bank account number.
Tom, you're going to like this a lot. Bob, are you dragging out the celebration to avoid today's topic, says Kelly. And yes, you are absolutely 1000% correct.
Kelly's figured you out. Yesterday, she was a little bit on to your challenges, and today
my challenges.
She's right back at it. So anyhow, in the past, and I have the event that I did, and that'll take me probably an hour to reconcile, get all the information in, and because I can just upload it. in the past, writing checks to what would be now 200 officials, writing out envelopes, putting them in the envelopes, stamping them, sealing them, that would probably take me, while trying to do other things, the better part of a week to get people paid, if not. And then it had to go in the mail, which would hopefully find their way. And guaranteed there was one or two people who never got it. And so I'm celebrating the fact that that process has been made has become much different, and that has provided value for me.
Okay, nice. I like that celebration. I so want to ask you why it took you so long to use these systems, but I'm not going to go there because Kelly will think I'm dragging this out even more. But maybe one week we'll talk about systems and the possible reluctance people might have to moving towards a system.
Well, with every system, just like with everything else, there's an opportunity and a potential obstacle that can come with it. So,
There is.
yes.
We
Like
can't put it off any longer, Tom.
Okay, you ready?
No.
You're not.
So
You said yesterday, I have some things to say about this, when this was my one thing yesterday. So what do you got?
Well, our topic today is stop lying and start learning. And I think the challenge I have is, and you brought it up before the program, and I think it's really an interesting observation, which is I told you that I was working in a capacity over the last couple of years where I was doing some work with a company, and I thought at times I was lying about what the performance could be because I knew that there were some operational difficulties and they weren't always resolved. And I don't remember exactly what you said, but you kind of made it seem like I wasn't lying. What do you remember what you said in response?
Well, I probably asked a question.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because I think I said, well, what lies did you think you were telling? And I think that's a part of it. Is, one is, how do you define lying? Two, the other thing about that is, I think oftentimes, here's what I get, and I guess if I was going to add a definition, is if I am not doing everything I can to share the value that I have, and instead choose to share other information, might be a way I might define lying. Like, I believe that if you were trying the best you could to help your client, and you honestly believed,
and the company I was working with as well, I was trying at both sides of it.
Yeah, and I think that if you are sharing your value, providing information that you believe is going to help them get to where they want to get to, how can that be lying? So now you're saying what you're saying, if you think that's lying, is that you can control the results.
Okay. So let me give you another situation that I've run up against with clients and with myself.
Okay.
Go into a sales situation and someone says, hey, can you do this thing for me?
Okay.
Like, I remember the first time I edited a book for someone. I'd never done that before. Someone said, well, you're a writer, you're good. And they're like, have you worked on any books before? No, I haven't, but I've done this, this, and this. And you sort of triangulate and extrapolate. Is that lying, or is that
anything that you've said you've done a lie?
No.
So that's up for the person to determine. Is if you say, I have done all these things, and I've even done what you're asking maybe for myself. I remember the same situation. I had someone approach me the first time asking me about, they were looking for suggestions for people to do strategic plans for a nonprofit organization. And I was like, I know 4 or 5 people, happy to send to them. Well, I just happened to be with a group of coaches, and my coach said to me, why would you ever say that? Said, could you do the work? And I'm like, I think my response was, I have never done it for a client, and I have done it and yet I've done it for myself. And says, okay, well, can you walk them through the process that you used to get to the result that you were looking for? I'm like, yes. And do you think that will help them achieve their desired results? Well, it did help me, and I did it a number of years, and so I have an understanding of it. Like, okay, so why don't you tell them that just so you know, I can do this as well. Did I lie in anything there?
No.
So if we're telling them if I said, oh yeah, I've done this for client X, Y, Z, listed all these names of all these people that I've done this for, and I haven't done it, that's lying. I'm saying that only because I think if I believe that's the only way I'm going to get the job, yeah, I'm lying. And here's the funny thing. Even if I got the job, have I learned anything? The only thing I've learned is that lying could fool someone until they say, things aren't really going the way I thought they would go. Maybe I ought to reach out and talk to one of those clients that you worked with and see if they had similar results. And then, yeah, you haven't. If you just share what you have, you will learn. And maybe that is not what this client is looking for. And yet there might be other clients out there. Like, I can imagine if I said that to some nonprofit organizations, they'd be like, well, we appreciate that. We're looking for something a little different. Okay, I understand that. This client knew me, had some trust in me, and I shared with them exactly what I shared here. And well, not exactly, but similarly to what I shared here. And I think they accepted that maybe I haven't exactly done this for other organizations, except the organization that I was a part of, which is another organization. And we trust and like you, and so we are going to go with you.
Okay. What would you say?
What was I lying in there?
Here's a text I received from someone over the last couple of days. You're in business where people lie and don't care, nor are held accountable. How would you respond to that?
That they lie and don't care. And are there people out there like that? Of course.
Nor are held responsible.
Well, we're held responsible.
Or, I'm sorry, accountable. So
well,
you're in business where people lie and don't care, nor are held accountable.
I guess I would wonder, well, what do they mean by being held accountable? That if I think we're held accountable by the fact that clients come back or don't come back. That's our accountability. If we don't help deliver what they were promised, are our clients going to come back?
Well, the other side of it is, hey, I'll sign a contract with you tomorrow, or I'll do this thing with you, or yeah, I want to work with you, or this sounds really great. And then it fizzles out, which we've all been through.
Well, here's the thing I think with that as well is, are they lying in the moment? That's a question. Mm-hmm. Are they lying in the moment? And the follow-up to that would be, or have results changed given time? To consider as they start to consider what they have just done. Have you ever done that? Are you lying?
Oh, yeah. You think about it and you change your mind. Kelly responds to that text with, there are a lot of assumptions in that text. And yes, I think there are, but I also think, I
want to go back before you jump. I want to go back to that.
Okay.
Do you think that's a lie? If I said to you, I'm really interested in working with you, please send me a contract. I'd like to work with you. Please send me a contract. I want to work with you. Please send me a contract. And then things change, even though they know everything in the contract. And they then decide not to sign it. Is that lying? In your mind?
No, I guess not.
Because time has had an impact on them. Because again, in my mind, if people have any belief in what I share, which I don't know if they do or not, is considering all the outside influences that have an impact on us. Things change in time. So I've been having this conversation with boards, nonprofit boards recently, because one of the things I see is board members who get in and have all the best intentions. They're passionate. They support the organization. They've been a great volunteer. They donate their time, their money. They connect people to all over. Love the organization. So the organization says, hey, we'd like to put you on the board. And they say, wow, that sounds fascinating. I'm really interested. I've served on a couple other boards. I'd really like to do this. And they say, okay, let me just fill you in with a couple of other things. One of the things is, when you join a board, you're part of a board for you have a 3-year term. And they're like, cool, I like that idea. I want to be more involved. And I think in 3 years, I will learn more. And so they agree. They get voted on. They step in. They're now on the board. 2 days later, so would you say they've made a commitment? 2 days later, their elderly mother trips and falls, breaks her hip. And now the only person who can help with their care, they have some care, yet me, who just signed on as a board member, is going to be a lot of the provider of their.
Okay.
And so they're like, this thing, I'm really interested in it. I think I can make it work. Or as we talked about earlier, I think I can figure it out. And so they go along a little bit, they're at things, and they're not prepared because they have time, because they're taking care of their parent. So they really don't know the topic of the conversation, and they haven't really looked at the financials and the budget, and so they can't really make a meaningful comment. They're asking volunteers, the board, to volunteer some time to do this for this project they have coming up, and they can't because that's the time they got to spend with their mother. And now they feel guilty. And unfortunately, we feel guilty because we're afraid we lied, and because we have to break our commitment. And so they stick around on a board, which is usually not that helpful for the board or that helpful for themselves or this parent that they're supposed to be taking care of. So if in the middle they go to 6 months later, they go to the executive director or the board president and say, I have to step off the board. Did they lie?
No, I guess that's a good, yeah. Oh, I feel better already.
Well, I mean, I think it's an opportunity for us to maybe look differently at things people say, that it might be what they're saying in the moment. And they fully, wholeheartedly believe in what they say in the moment. Outside influences, time changes our results, which could change the things that we have said or done. That could some people say that's a lie? Sure. I said yesterday I was going to go to the gym. I told my wife I'm going to the gym this afternoon at 5:45. Or I said I'm going to really try. This is my plan. And I didn't go. Did I lie to her?
Well, there's another side of this, and maybe this is a topic for tomorrow or later in the week, which is the feeling that we are being lied to when someone is explaining what they can do.
Okay.
It's the too good to be true belief. Someone says, hey, I can solve this problem for you. You knew about these systems for your officiating, billing. You've known about them for a couple of years, I bet, and you didn't act on them. And I bet you've looked into them a little bit over those years, right?
A little.
Okay. But you probably didn't believe that it could replace what you were doing. You didn't have trust in it, because if you had trust in it, you would have done it sooner.
Maybe.
So
I knew there
was a disconnect between your belief in what could be done versus what you were doing. And I think that divide is what we often have to deal with people, right? It's not so much that we're lying to the person, it's often that the person believes that we're lying to them because we're saying, hey, I understand your problem. I want to help you solve it. And I have a pathway to help you solve it. And sometimes we don't believe it. How many times have you said or I've said on this program, Tom, hey, if you're someone who's having trouble with this or that, give us a call. Let's talk about it. We don't get a lot of those calls. We don't get a lot of those discussions. And the reason probably is because it's like, I don't believe they can solve this. Or we might be lying to ourselves in the sense, not you and me, but the person going, I don't know that I want to solve this, because if I solve this, what happens? I have a new set of challenges, right? You have this new system for your accounting aspects. It's created a new set of challenges for you. You may not even know what they are yet, because you just started using it. Could very well be that, if you put the payment in this way, it doesn't do that, or your bank doesn't tie to it, or it gets held for 3 days and you're paying interest, or there's a huge fee. There are all these things that could come along that you may not know right now. And I think sometimes our fear, the lie we tell ourselves is, I want to solve that problem, but really, I'd rather stay where I am because it's very comfortable here. I know the devil I face when I'm in my life right now. But the minute I start to change things and someone helps me figure out a problem or solve a problem that I have, now I'm in the unknown. And the unknown scares most of us. It just does.
Of course. Well, because we want to control everything.
And so the lie is not the person doing the selling, for want of a better word, the person trying to solve the problem. It's the person who says they want the problem solved, but really doesn't, because they fear the effects of solving that problem.
Maybe they're not ready. Maybe they don't have enough information. Maybe they don't. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people choose to act or not act. And I think that's, and there are a lot of offers that a lot of people make. So that, one of the challenges is you have to decide. If I said today, I want to go out and buy a new phone, how many options could I consider?
I have no idea.
A lot, correct?
Yeah.
To the point where it's almost overwhelming. And you know what? Liz, it's actually interesting because my phone has been giving me a little bit of problems or whatever. And Liz says, well, why don't we go down to, and mine was easy. Let's go to Verizon and we can change it.
Oh, why don't you go to like Best Buy or Micro Center and buy a computer while you're there? Do a 2-for-1, Tom. Solve a second problem.
Fair enough. Although, well, I'm not going to say anything.
Because it garbled up a little earlier today.
Yeah, I know.
And there's a great example. Okay. So we have a problem with something's wrong in your technology there, right?
Yes, correct.
We know that's a problem. There are possible solutions. We've discussed them.
Yep.
You haven't taken action yet.
So do you consider that me lying to myself?
Well, I think it could be a couple of different lies. One, you could be lying to yourself, it's really not a big deal.
Could be.
Two, you could be lying to yourself, I don't have the time to go solve this. I don't have the knowledge to solve this. A new computer may not solve this. What other potential? Oh, if I buy a new computer, I don't believe that computer that I get is going to do everything I need it to do, or I'm not going to be able to transfer my data from one computer to another. It's a giant pain. I mean, there are a whole bunch of potential, I don't want to call them lies, but things you're telling yourself.
Obstacles. And
I guess that gets to our point of the program, right? You can learn.
Yes.
Try it and learn as you go. Just like you learned that the systems that you were talking about in your celebration actually seem to be working really well for you. They've taken a process that I can only imagine from what you've told me and what I can put together was 20 or 30 hours.
Oh, for 200 officials? Well, yeah, probably.
Okay. And you've cut it down to, 2 hours?
Less than that, probably.
Okay. That's a pretty big shift.
Yeah, of course. Well, here's the thing. So let's take this a little further. So with this new group of events, we have new officials who I haven't used before. And so the other day I inputted them all in a system. Again, uploaded them, fairly simple. It all sends them a message. Well, people couldn't get in. They were struggling to get in. So it created this challenge of what's going on. And so we had to work through customer service and get it figured out, and still have a few people who haven't gotten in yet. And, so now what has been a seamless couple of those issues in the past. So now, because I was uploading a whole larger group, had a few more of those issues. And what seemed simple became a little bit of a headache to try to figure out what's going on and again, that could derail me to say, yeah, this system wasn't correct and I need to go find something else. Or I could say, you know what, let's see. I've had success with it. I've seen what it can do and how much it can change. I don't want to go back to writing checks, and let's just see if we can find a way to work through this.
Okay. So are you ready with your one thing?
I don't know.
I am.
Oh. For the guy who was nervous about the show, you're very
calm down. I've calmed down.
Let's hear it. What do you got?
I think my one thing is that it's not just the person selling that could be, I don't want to say lying, misrepresenting the facts to themselves. It could also be the person who's in the buying situation misrepresenting things themselves. And I thought of the lying as only the seller, but it could be the buyer. They could be lying to themselves. Hey, this isn't a problem. Or I don't believe this solution can work. Or I don't have the finances. Or I don't have the time. We can tell ourselves excuses so easily.
Well, so is it an excuse or is it a lie?
If it's not true, is it a lie? Maybe it's not a lie. It's just a disconnect between the two sides. Maybe there's a gap to be bridged. If someone works with me, clearly they understand that I can help them achieve their goal. Same with you. Same with anyone. If you're putting solar panels on someone's roof, they believe that you're going to be able to help them convert that solar energy into energy and save them money on their gas and electric expenses. Someone buys a new car. They're expecting that car is going to be durable and last however long, at least longer than the amount of payments they make on it. And it's going to not break down. If someone buys, a computer, they're expecting it's going to do what they need to do. It's going to have the power. It's going to load all that stuff, work on the internet, all those things. That's fairly, so when we buy something, we're accepting that we understand it enough that we're not being lied to. I think where it breaks down for most of us is we've all lied to ourselves or we've been lied to in some sales situation. I remember when I was lied to, first time I was lied to. I bought magic cards when I was like 8. And they were supposed to do magic. Took them out of the thing. They didn't do magic. I had to do stuff to learn it. I didn't want to learn it. I thought I was just going to pull them out of the wrapper and boom, they're magic.
Did they say that all you had to do was pull them out of the deck and you would be, or did they say?
I was 8. I wasn't as sophisticated as I am now.
So the question is,
but I put my tuxedo on and my top hat and I was all set to do a magic show. I'm kidding.
So here's the question though, as a part of that, you had created expectations.
I did.
If I open this box, magic will happen. Did they say that? Did you infer that?
I inferred it.
And so did they lie?
No, I guess not. But it felt like a lie to me.
Because you created expectations and it didn't live up to your expectations. And so you judged the organization that sold them to you as lying to you. You've been telling yourself that for a few years now.
Thank you.
You can relieve that burden now.
I can't believe I pulled that out of my head.
Well, you can relieve that burden now because they didn't. I don't think. I mean, I have to go back and look at their advertising. What did they say? What was in the box? What was on the box? All those type of things. You know, I would imagine there are other people who, with those cards, can create magic. And it's so that's the thing. It's like a computer, or a car. If I sell you a brand new car and it's awesome, it's wonderful, here are all the things that it does because it's done this for other people. You drive it home and it breaks down right away. Did they lie to you?
No.
Or did other outside influences that nobody could control happen? Time happened and things change.
Okay, what's your one thing? Or was that it?
I don't know. That might be it. But I think I'm going to go back to the original topic, which not that we've gone
what
over.
What kind of craziness is that, Tom?
is I truly think that here's the thing is going to your example with me and my computer. I have thought that I could find other ways to solve the challenge. I thought that if I went in and each day, because I almost never shut my computer down at the end of the day. So my thought was if I go in each day and I restart my computer from scratch, that my issues would go away. Because the funny thing is, I almost never have them in the afternoon. Or even like, the weird thing is, it happens on this show. When I'm on now maybe it's because we're using StreamYard and I don't use that really the rest of the afternoon. It's possible. And maybe StreamYard is too powerful for the computer that I have at the moment, or with all the stuff I have on it. Could also be my internet. Like, I haven't convinced myself yet that the solution is a new computer, because most of the time this works completely well, or it does what I want it to do.
And I haven't convinced you that it's a new computer either.
Because again, I think that there might be something else, so I'm going to check that out. You know, there's part of it is I really don't want to go out and buy one, so it's
really
possible.
easy. I bought one the other day for someone.
I know.
You can hop online and have it delivered 2 days later.
I understand that
you could be in your pajamas and do it.
I understand that.
Okay.
I just have thought that there were other options to consider, and I think that's what happens. Yet, I think oftentimes people don't go through what I've gone through. They're just like, oh yeah, I'm not sure that's going to work, so I'm not going to go forward. Not that they think anyone is lying to them. They are just like, nah, they're doubting either themselves, or they may be doubting that they can leverage whatever it is in a way that would be beneficial for them. For whatever reason, time, money, all of the other reasons that could come into play. And I think that if that's all you're doing, then I think you are lying to yourself, because you're not taking the time to try and learn. I believe that I have tried to learn by taking some action to figure out what it might be that might be the issue with my computer. Have I taken enough? Probably not yet. I think that's a judgment.
Okay. All right.
So that's my thing, is that I think if all we say is, yeah, that won't work, and we never really explore why we think that, or what are some other options that may, then we're probably lying to ourselves.
Okay.
So
I like that.
Go with that.
Okay. Action packed.
Well, you know, it's a sensitive topic, I would say.
Yes.
All right, everyone. If you have one thing that you would like to share, please feel free to put it in the comments. You happen to be listening to our podcast. We know, unfortunately, there is no place to comment in podcasts. So please feel free to join us in our Sculpt Your Business Facebook group, where you can become a part of that and share your value. And maybe you don't own a business, but your business could be your leadership role, could be your work role. That's your business. It's just business in quotes rather than as considered as an actual business. So we'd love to have you as a part of that group as well, where you can share your value. And at the same time, you might pick up some things that might be of value to you as well. And of course, if there are things as you're going through this, you say, why have I been doubting myself? Why have I maybe been lying to myself about where I'm at and where I'd like to be? Be a great opportunity to have a conversation with Bob and I, and we can start to try to figure out, are you learning? Would you like to start learning? Or what might be those next steps that you could take to help you figure out where you want to get to? And you create your own unique pathway to some control and confidence around what you're doing and where you want to be. So we look forward to seeing you inside of that group. If not, we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. ish Eastern time.
Oh, yeah. I forget Wednesday every week. Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry. Having a little mental moment here.
Yes, we will be there. We may not be live being there. I don't know. I got to learn.
It might be right at 7 for once.
What's that?
It might be right at 7 once because if we record it.
Yes, usually right on time. Because there's a system that allows that to happen. And
right.
they didn't, StreamYard didn't lie to us. They did say they could deliver it, and they have to date.
They do.
So they're a little better at that. That's why I'm glad that I have been saying 7-ish. I don't want to feel like I'm lying to people who say, oh yeah, Tom said we'll see you at 7. And we don't get there till somewhere between 7:03 and 7:20.
Yeah.
So we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. ish Eastern time, for our next episode of Today's Antidote.
Hey, whatever you do, embrace the renegading you. It's so worth it.
I agree. He's not lying to you. I do agree. I believe that he is telling you what he believes right now. All right, everyone. Go out and make it and enjoy your day. We will see you soon.
The sculptor sculpts. That's right. He creates something out of nothing or out of just raw materials.
Or she.
Or she. Good point. Thank you for that correction, Tom. I'll change the notes. You could do the same with your business. You could sculpt your business into what you want it to be. It's not as hard as you think. And right now you may be trying to do it and you're in chaos and confusion. We want to help you with our Sculpt Your Business program. Take it to confidence and control. That's right. Confidence and control. Imagine having a sense of what you need to do, why you need to do it, when you need to do it, and why it matters. And serving people every day in ways that you've been dreaming of. We can help you do it. It's as easy as contacting Tom or me or going to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. We hope to see you soon there.